Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 827, Commercials in Mayberry. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at Weaver's Department Store. Head over to Weaver's. There's some brand new stuff over there like the Mayberry Hotel keychain. That's right, you can get one of the keys from the Mayberry Hotel. Head over there and check that out. We also have some brand new Mayberry scented calendars. That's right, you can smell out Floyd's Barbershop, Taylor's Front Porch, and also Old Man Kelsey's Woods and Old Man Kelsey's Ocean. Head over there to Weaver's and check it out. And we got brand new Hello Doll t-shirts as well. Head over to Weaver's Department Store and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 827 is Lisa Allers. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you for being here as well. I want to thank everybody that supports the podcast, whether it's through Patreon or PayPal donations or just buying things at Weaver's. Thank you for supporting me. It's a lot of fun. And also support like this, because this week's episode about commercials in Mayberry the idea came to me from Eric Self. Eric Self wrote in, he said he was asking that, well, he thought it would be a good idea, interesting to go over commercials that were filmed during the original run of the series and featured characters from the Andy Griffith Show. And I told him, wow, I don't know if I can do that because there's not really much information about those. So I've been digging around trying to find out, and we're going to go into that in just a few minutes. And after we get through, we'll play some fun Mayberry trivia just to wrap up the show. Hope you're going to enjoy this. We've got three people that have written in some YouTube comments as well. So if you're watching over on YouTube, feel free to leave comments after the show and I'll see them there. But okay, so during the original run of the series from 1960 to 1968, the Andy Griffith Show featured a unique practice, common really among television during that time. Cast members actually appeared in character in commercials. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever seen those or know that happens, but it was definitely something that they did during the run of the show. And so I think it's something, if you've never seen it, I really hate that for you because they're really cool if you see them. But all right, they weren't separate advertisements, but they were integrated segments. And often at the end of the episodes or near the end of the episodes where the actors blurred the lines between the fictional world of Mayberry and the products that they were promoting. This wasn't a reflection of, it was a reflection of the era's sponsorship model on television, where shows were closely tied to advertisers. And the cast involvement lent an authentic, homey feeling to the sales pitches. The primary sponsor for much of the Andy Griffith Show was General Foods. It was a big conglomerate that owned brands like Post Cereals, Maxwell House Coffee, and Sanka Coffee. In these commercials, we would see characters like Andy Taylor, Barney Fife, Aunt Bee, and Opie appearing in settings that were very familiar to viewers. Around the Taylor home, often the Taylor's kitchen, or maybe on the front porch. And they would be delivering these sales pitches during the commercial, but they delivered lines that tied the product to their Mayberry lives. So it was like a part of the episode. For example, in one spot, Andy might casually mention enjoying a bowl of Post cereals or Post Toasties cornflakes is what he would have said, while Aunt Bee nods approvingly, reinforcing her role as the family's nurturing cook. Another might feature maybe Barney extolling the virtues of Maxwell House Coffee, perhaps with numerous twists about needing to stay alert on his deputy's duties, or fumble the delivery of his signature nervous style. You know, he did all those kind of things. These segments were typically short, and they lasted about 30 seconds to a little over a minute. And they were filmed in the same sets that the show used there at Desilu Studios to maintain a continuity. The actors stayed in character, preserving the warm, familiar tone of Mayberry. A notable example is a Sanka coffee ad where Andy and Barney chat over a cup of coffee, and Andy is praising its decaffeinated smoothness while Barney, true to form, overanalyzes its effects on his jittery nature. Similarly, there were commercials that I can't remember ever seeing, but reports were they did stuff like Gaines Burgers, dog food commercials that featured cast. I don't remember ever seeing those, but there were reports of that. And they would have been tied to the plot in some way, like maybe Barney's latest scheme making the pitch feel like it was an extension of the episode. There were a lot of different versions of these commercials. Okay. The content was scripted by the show's writers or the ad agency copywriters, ensuring that the dialogue matched the characters' personalities. Andy's calm, folksy delivery was contrasted with Barney's excitable tangents, while Opie's innocent enthusiasm appealed to younger viewers. Aunt Bee often played the homemaker angle, of course, tying the products to her domestic expertise, perhaps. The spots aired during the commercial breaks or as a tag scene, or kind of toward the end of the episode. When the show actually ends, there's always a break there, and then there's a tag, is what it was always called. They might put that commercial in that area. Back then, there was only one commercial break. That was it. The shows were 30 minutes long, but there were actually 27 minutes of TV show. So the commercials were very short. There were a very limited number of them. So they really blended the entertainment and the promotion together so that you wanted to watch it. And they've kind of started doing some of that kind of stuff today, because people will speed through the commercials because they pre-record it, unless the actors from their actual show are on the commercial, and then they might stop instead of fast forwarding. So it's kind of somewhat coming back, that kind of thing. Let's see. After the episode kind of wrapped up, as I said, the scene might cut to Andy in the kitchen or in the courthouse or something, saying, "Well, after a day like today, nothing beats a hot cup of Maxwell House coffee," followed by, Barney or Aunt Bee or somebody agreeing, and the logo would appear at the end, or they would hold up the can or the coffee can. This practice was most prominent in the black and white seasons from 1960 to 1965, when Don Knotts was still a regular, as his comedic presence boosted ads' appeal. So they really liked it. After Knotts left in 1965, the show shifted to color, and the frequencies of these in-character commercials kind of tapered off, reportedly. Though some continued with the remaining cast, General Foods remained a key sponsor, but as television advertising evolved, standalone commercials began to replace these integrated segments in the late 1960s. Exact details, like the exact total number of commercials or specific air dates, are very tough to pin down. In other words, I couldn't. Without going through archived broadcast logs, maybe you could find out, but they're just not widely available. However, the producers most commonly associated with these kind of spots, as I kind of mentioned already, are run during this time. They include Post Toasties, Grape Nuts, Maxwell House, Sanka, and Gainsburger. The approach was very effective, leveraging the cast chemistry and the show's wholesome image to make the ads memorable and enduring. And even if the products were of their time, so people just liked these projects at that time. Today, some of these commercials survive in fan collections or DVD extras, offering a nostalgic glimpse into how Mayberry's residents once sold breakfast cereal and coffee to America. So that was all the information I could really find. We have some information on our website, the Mayberry Historical Society, at mayberry.info as well, that actually tells us that in the season 3, at least, I highlighted it here for us, Paramount was able to include 29 of the 32 original commercials. So that's a big plus for the seasons. Now, maybe you haven't seen the seasons episodes. This is my old set here. This is from season 2. I have, if you're watching the video, you'll see me holding it up. But they have extras. Every one of these, it's not all of them necessarily, but season 2 has these. Season 1 doesn't. I believe season 2 and 3 are the only ones that have the commercials. So I've never seen many of the commercials. So let's listen. This is from the episode Opie and the Bully. This is going to be the first episode of season 2. We just finished season 1, going through the entire season. We just did that on the podcast. So we haven't been doing the commercials or anything because I didn't have any. So maybe this year, as I go through season 2, we can include some of these commercials, but really there's not much information. There's no scripts that I could find. If you have scripts from these, it would be interesting to see them. You're more than welcome to send them to me. But let's watch this one. This is from the episode Opie and the Bully. It's going to be the first episode of season 2. So let's check this one out. Well, I guess it would be nice if we had audio for it. One thing I should mention, if you're watching this on YouTube later and you don't see these, it's going to be because YouTube didn't let me show them. Okay. But the audio listeners will still be able to hear, but the videos are all available on YouTube if you want to go see them. Here we go. Let's play it.
Who wouldn't let you fish in that place?
Howdy, Snitch.
What if he was fishing there now and he came along and told you to get? Would you?
Of course not.
What would you say to him?
I'd say, Hody, you can't tell a man to get right when he's having a cup of new Sanka coffee. What's the matter with you?
What if he was bigger than you? What if he threatened to give you a knuckle sandwich?
I'd say, good. That'll go just fine with my Sanka that's got that rich, wonderful flavor that comes from a whole new blend of the world's finest coffees.
What if he said you gotta pay him to fish in that place?
I'd say you ain't getting nary thing out of me but a cup of new Sanka that's still 97% caffeine free and you can drink all you want.
What if he said...
What if? What if you didn't ask so many questions? What'd happen then?
You wouldn't get to say all them things about Sanka.
That's right, you keep asking questions. Try new Sanka, the coffee for folks who love good coffee and plenty of it. I appreciate it and good night.
So that is an example of one of the commercials. Now, there are, for most every episode, I believe, in the first season or second season, I have those because they're on the DVD sets. That's one of the extras you'll get if you buy the DVD sets, if you can find them. So that is definitely something, it makes them worth seeing. You can also just go to Google and, go to YouTube, I guess would be the best place to do it. Go there and click on the click on the search and search for Andy Griffith Show commercials, and you'll probably be able to find them. They're available because there's not that many online. There's not that many available, but they're definitely worth checking out if you can find them. So anyway, I want to thank Eric Self for taking time to write in with that, question really he kind of had. But he really came up with a good idea of something to talk about related to the Andy Griffith Show, and I really do appreciate it. Even though I couldn't find much information about it, it did let me go in and really start looking and try to figure it out. But there just really aren't very many commercials, and I guess the reason is the scripts are just really hard to find. Because they weren't really part of the script itself. They were kind of additions. And I don't know if those are in the actual scripts. Now, Paul Mulick, our buddy Paul, who's done some of our trivia in the past, he has a lot of scripts. And so he might be able to answer this question for me. And so I'll look forward, if he has an answer, him sending me a note and correcting me. Anyway, Online, there's nothing. I can't find anything. So I hope that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that. I think that's kind of fun to me to think about them. And those little I don't know, those little episodes make it really fun because it's like seeing a brand new thing. I'll go ahead and play for you. Hopefully YouTube doesn't stop me. If they don't, let me keep it on there. You guys check it out later. But here's the one from the next episode, which would be Barney's replacement. Let's play that one.
Hey, Barney, you know I never did really properly swear you back in as deputy after you resigned.
Hey, that's right.
Now, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Barney Fife, promise to maintain law and order.
I, Barney Fife, promise to maintain law and order.
To protect the public welfare and preserve the peace.
Protect the public welfare and preserve the peace.
To inform the public about new post alphabets.
To inform the public about new What?
To tell them that now New Golden Alphabets is the only oat cereal that's brown sugar frosted.
The only oat cereal is brown sugar frosted. Andy.
New Golden Alphabets with all 26 letters of the alphabet are more A, B, C, delicious than ever.
Delicious than ever.
So help me post.
Andy, what's that? That's not the sheriff's manual. That's not the book we go by.
No, that's the sponsor's manual. That's the book we go by. Start your day a little bit better with these New Golden Alphabets, folks. They're better than ever. Good. I appreciate it, and good night.
So that is another example of the commercial thing. It's kind of fun because you can see, if you've watched that episode, you'll see that blends right in with the episode. So it's perfect. So again, I hope you enjoy that. I think it's pretty cool. They're pretty neat to see. All right. So we've got a couple of questions that came in, or comments, or whatever they might be. I'm not quite sure which they are. But we have this one here. This is from, Craig, I believe. So Craig writes in to say, he's talking about basically the episode last week, bringing up Opie. It was the episode number 826, which was last week's podcast. He says, I like it when Otis is given the option of paying the $2 or spending 24 hours in jail. He says he wouldn't waste $2 on anything that didn't have a cork in it. He also said that the truck that Opie climbs into looks a lot like the truck that was in the first episode of the Andy Griffith Show. I'm not sure if it's the same one or not. That is something to look into. So thank you. Now, these are over on YouTube. This is where these comments came from. So Craig, thanks for leaving a comment. Here's another one. This one's from the Ghost and Mr. Chicken episode of Two Chairs No Waiting, way back at 159. People are still watching these older episodes. But here's, I thought this was really cool. Danny Edwards, he wrote in and said, my son wanted to read Luther's bravery speech from the Ghost and Mr. Chicken at his brother's wedding reception for his best man speech. So we had to play it over and over and write it all down, each line by line. Some of the folks didn't understand it, but thought it was funny just the same. Right afterwards, my son's father-in-law got up to say a few words, and without skipping a beat, he tapped on the microphone and said, the electrician Democrat. So Danny's son married into a good family is what I would say. So that is a cool story. Ghost of Mr. Chicken. If you guys haven't watched that, I realize it's the Andy Griffith Show, but Don Knight's basically Luther is Barney. And wow, what a great one. So that's from comments from episode 159 of Two Chairs No Waiting, the Ghost of Mr. Chicken. So go check it out. And one final one we have. This is from Grace, and it's about Barney Gets His Man, episode number 824, a few weeks ago. She says, hi, Allan, a good show. Does the Ambassador magazine, I mentioned it during that podcast, and I was talking about what things meant, and she says, does it mention what Allan Melville meant, or from the episode Jailbreak, about needles and pins. So she says that after they both say the same thing at the same time. So Allan Melville and Barney say needles and pins after they both say the same thing at the same time. So I looked this up, and there's some kind of a nursery rhyme about this event, about if you get married. So it's called Needles and Pins of Marriage. This was not pins and needles. It was needles and pins. So there's a difference. So that's the reason people really don't know what it means. But there's a nursery rhyme that says needles and pins. Needles and pins. When a man marries, his troubles begin. So I don't know why that would have anything to do with why Allan Melvin, his character, and Barney both said, like what we do now. If somebody says something at the same time, you say, I kissed blue before you, or something like that. There's things you do because of a jinx or something. So I'm assuming it had something to do with that. Surely it didn't have anything to do with this nursery rhyme, but there is a nursery rhyme that says the whole thing is needles and pins. When a man marries, his trouble begins. Evidently, that's the whole thing. So I don't know if there's more to that nursery rhyme or not, but I thought that was it's an English language proverb. It was first recorded in the Proverbs section of James Orchard Halliwell's Nursery Rhymes of England in 1842. I have no idea. I don't know. It does not mention that in the Ambassador magazine. I don't know the answer to that, but maybe somebody listening will give us the answer to that. So thanks for writing in. Thanks to everybody that took time to leave comments and stuff. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, let's play some Mayberry trivia. I hope you guys are ready for this. This is going to be some easier Mayberry trivia. Okay, so we'll be playing some easier ones. All right, so we'll play about 8 questions. How about that? All right, question number 1. It's true or false. Barney was once a detective in Raleigh. True or false? Okay, everybody giving their answers. All right. So, Barney was once a detective in Raleigh. True or false? The answer is true. True. That is right. True. All right. Surely you knew that one. All right. Question number 2. Name the street where Andy lives. That was not real easy. I mean, some of you guys should know that, but that's not super easy. Name the street where Andy lives. Just the street. You don't have to give the whole address or anything. Okay. He lives... You can pause if you don't want to hear the answer, but he lives on Maple. Maple is where he lives. Question number 3. Who said you just had to have an apple? I love these questions because they make me think of these episodes. Who said you just had to have an apple? The answer is Barney. Barney said it. He said it, I think I can go ahead and tell you. I don't see a question that's going to give to Gomer. Remember when they were handcuffed together and Gomer reached in to get the apple and they were handcuffed together. That's why they had gone over to Andy's house. Andy was supposed to be getting a day off. Okay, here's the 4th question. Number 4. What nickname did Barney use for Andy in the Centennial play? Well, that one's a little harder. What nickname did Barney use for Andy in the Centennial play? Okay, so I'm going to give you some multiple choices on this one. Was it A, Laughing Bull, B, Laughing Face, C, Happy Face, or D, Mr. Face? Which answer would it have been? What nickname did Barney give Andy in the Centennial play? The answer is B, Laughing Face. Laughing Face. All right, so that's 4 questions. How'd you do? You doing all right? We got 4 more. You're halfway. How you doing? Is it fun? That's the main thing. All right, question number 5. Helen wore a wig to impress the new preacher. True or false? Helen wore a wig to impress the new preacher. True or false? The answer is false. So question number 6. Who did wear the wig to impress the new preacher? Who wore a wig to impress the new preacher? Who wore a wig to impress the new teacher? Preacher, not teacher. The answer, Aunt B did. Aunt B. And in our chat room, Paul Mulick is in there, who provides us our trivia questions from time to time. He says Aunt Clara did too. So if you got Clara, you get that one right. If you said Clara. So it's Aunt B and Clara at the end of the episode. All right. Let's see. 5, 6, 7. Number 7. What man made Mayberry his hometown by reading letters and newspapers? What man made Mayberry his hometown by reading letters and newspapers? What was his name? Folks in the chat room are definitely getting these right. I'm looking at all of our chat rooms here, and they are. So speaking of the chat rooms, if you guys don't know about the chat rooms, you guys can be a part of our chat rooms by coming over to, right now, there is a problem. You have to go to http://live.twochairsnowaiting.com. I'm working to get that fixed where that'll work correctly, but right now that's our problem. You got to go to live.twochairsnowaiting.com or just head over to imayberry.com/podcasts and then go to the live button on there. And you can join in with the folks in our chat rooms. And on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we record this show live. So there's folks in our chat room all enjoying themselves. All right. The answer to that last question, what man made Mayberry his hometown by reading letters and newspapers, is Ed Sawyer. Ed Sawyer did it. All right. Question number 8, our final question for the evening or for the episode. Who did Aunt B select as who did Andy select as the winner of the Mayberry Beauty Contest? Who did Andy select as the winner of the Mayberry Beauty Contest? Who was Miss Mayberry? Okay, it's a little hard, so I'm gonna give you some multiple choice just to make it easier. Folks in our chat rooms are getting it correct. The multiple choice was it Ellie, Emma Watson, Irma Bishop, or Helen Crump? Who did Andy select as Miss Mayberry? The answer, it was Miss Bishop. It was Miss Bishop. Miss Bishop. Also, according to Paul, if you said Mary Wiggins, I'll give you a question. I'll give you that one as well, since she was Miss Mayberry Jr. and crowned at Floyd's Barbershop. Hail to thee, Miss Mayberry. Oh, hail to thee. Oh, hail. Floyd sang to her. All right, guys, how did you do? How did you do with your answers? Did you get them? It looks like our folks in our chat room did a pretty good job. There was 8 questions. You could have gotten 8 points if you got it right. I guess there was 2 extra points. So if you said Clara about the wig, and if you said Mary Wiggins, if you said her, then I guess I'd give you 2 extra points. That'd be 10 points. You could have had 10 points. How did you do? I hope you did good. And I hope you had a good time doing it. That's the main thing. So again, I want to thank Eric Self for the idea about tonight's episode, this episode, whatever time you're listening to it. And sorry I couldn't get better information. Hopefully we will get some information from some of you, our listeners. I would love to hear from you. Any of you guys can give me a call at 888-684-8415. You can email me at floyd@imayberry.com or head over to twochairsnowaiting.com. If you can't get there, go to imayberry.com/podcast and it'll go straight. There's all kinds of stuff there where you can leave messages, voicemails, comments, and I will do my best to check them all, and so that I get to hear from you, because I really do enjoy hearing from you. Folks, thanks again for being here with me. Head over to Weaver's Department Store and check out some of the new things they got over there. I want to mention the Mayberry Cruise 18 is heading out to New Orleans this year, October 27th through the 1st of November, heading to the Western Caribbean. Go and check out the event calendar for more information. Folks, we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs.